Welcome back on the mat. As usual, let's get started in a nice upright seated position. So a little bit of lateral movement in the spine to start off with. Let's get the right forearm onto the mat. You can even place opposite hand onto the knee, push the knee away from the body so you feel that you're getting length along the side body. Now take your arm out in front and start to reach all the way over your head, stretching to the front of the mat. So we're just taking it out to the side. Then exhale, loop the arm back in that same shape, placing hand onto knee as we come back up to seated. You might find that this one side feels a bit more stretched out now. Let's bring left forearm down, take the right arm out in front, and then reaching all the way over your head, feeling a nice stretch along the side body. You can slowly reverse that action, bring the arm to the front, and then making your way back up into a seated position. Interlace your fingers. Flip your palms. As you push your palms away from your body, tuck your chin around your spine. Draw navel to spine. Inhale. Just get a flat back, shoulder blades in the neutral position. Exhale one more time, pushing away, rounding in the back. Now maintain this round in the back. You can start to look up. Just stretch with the arms up to ceiling, but you keep the spine flexed. We keep space between shoulder blades. And exhale. You can bring the arms down. Let's take a right leg out to the side. The left leg can be bent and in a very casual position. We're not going to get too deep into the hamstring. You can even bend into the knee for that matter. It's about the side stretch. So bring the right arm to the inside of the right leg. Take your opposite arm up. And once again, start to stretch over to the side. Lengthening. Should you want to include more hamstring flexibility, you could straighten the leg a little bit. Eventually we'll grip hold of the foot, but the body's not warmed up yet. And I'll take your arm up and exhale. Bring it down. Let's switch. Opposite side. Leg out to the side. Leg is casually bent. We don't have to get too technical with that. Bend into the knee if you want, but place the left arm onto the floor. Take your opposite arm up and then start to reach over. Should you want to straighten the leg, you're more than welcome to. The idea is to once again just feel into the side of the body, along the rib cage, all the way down to the pelvis. Inhale to take arm up and exhale and bring it down. Make your way to all fours. And in this all fours position, instead of doing cat and cow, you're going to tilt your hips to the left and tilt them to the right. So it's almost, imagine a dog wagging its tail. Just a little bit of movement in the hips and then bring it back to a neutral position. Tuck your toes. Straighten your legs, downward facing dog. Now, exactly like what we did in all fours, you can move your hips from side to side. You'll find that now that we're in a closed kinetic chain here with the hands on the mat, the stretch is going to be more effective. Feel more in the body by moving the hips from side to side. Place your knees onto the mat. Walk your hands out in front. Get on the fingertips. As you get onto fingertips, full in-breath. Exhale. Bring your chest closer to the floor. As we get into the lats, as we get into the anterior deltoids, the front parts of the shoulders. It might help to look up in between the hands to get more space. You know, making your way back up, getting hands below your shoulders. Now, as you tuck toes, don't take the hips up, simply get the knees to float off the mat. And in this position, we'll shift weight back and forth. Just feel into the quads, feel into the muscles closest to the knees. And at the same time as you shift weight forwards, you'll definitely feel more sensation in the forearms and the wrists. Now come back to neutral spine, placing your knees back down. This time round, bring your palms together out in front. Push your palms away from your body, externally rotate in the arms. So you don't want the shoulders to roll in, but instead roll them apart to keep space between shoulder blades. Sliding your hands forwards, keep that external rotation and hold. Chest close to the floor, maybe even touching. It's a bit of a stretch along the shoulder blades. And slowly making your way back up, hands onto mat. This time around, tuck toes to get into downward facing dog. And I'll bring your right foot in between hands. Keep your left hand on the mat. Take your right arm up and then work your right arm towards the back wall, getting the shoulder blades a bit closer together. Exhale. Bring your hand down. Get onto the fingertips. Option of staying in this position as you sink into the front knee, getting the front leg at 90. Or option of lifting your chest slightly, bringing the arms alongside the body and turning the palms out. Exhale, bring your hands down. Step back. Exhale, knees, chest and chin or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale to down dog. Inhale. Step your left foot in between hands. Keep the right hand on the mat. Inhale, take left arm up and reach towards the back wall. The wall on the right in this case. Exhale. Bring your hand down. Get onto fingertips. Sink into the front knee. Option of staying here or float the hands off the mat, turn the palms out. Arms in line with the upper body in line with the back leg. Exhale, bring hands down. Step it back. Knees, chest and chin or chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, bring your hips back to plank and place knees onto mat. Now we'll get hands into fists. You can get the thumbs over the index fingers or you can get the thumbs just on the inside. So if you get them over, you'll find that you have to bend the thumbs a little bit, but it does give quite a nice stretch. Otherwise, just pull the thumbs in. But keeping fists on the mat, you carefully shift a bit of weight forwards so that we get this ulnar deviation sort of shape, and then radial deviation. So we'll do both. You can shift a bit of weight forwards, and then bend into your elbows, shifting a bit of weight back onto the baby fingers, knuckles. Back to center, to that ulnar deviation shape, and then the opposite, radial. One more time. Leaning forwards, and then bending in the arms as you get more weight on the pinky side. Bring it back to a neutral position. You can firmly place the palms onto mat. As you do so, tuck toes, take it back up into down dog. Bending into knees, look up. Inhale, feet in between hands, halfway lift. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, take arms all the way up to ceiling. Exhale into a mountain pose. Getting the feet together. Roll the shoulders back and down. Turn your palms out just for that bit of upper back activation. Slight tilt in the pelvis, a bit of a squeeze in the glutes. Float your heels off the mat, balancing on the balls of the feet. Pushing away from the mat as much as you can. While you are balancing in this position, take awareness to the abdomen. See if there's a light engagement instead of an absolute disconnect or complete relaxing sensation in the abdomen. We'll aim to do movement while we balance on the balls of the feet. So use an inhale, take your arms up. Exhale into a forward bend. Now, if this is too challenging, then you can bring your heels down. Alternatively, come all the way down, keeping heels off the mat into a forward bend. Only with the inhale halfway lift, we place heels down. Exhale, step it back into plank. Now, position the left knee in line with the left wrist. Get the right leg in line with the left wrist as well. Inhale, take your right arm up, and for a bit of a stretch along the right side body, reach forwards or out in front with the top arm. You can even slightly reach down towards the floor, keeping the hips up to get a little bit deeper into the posture, or just getting more of a stretch along the side body. Inhale, take your arm up. Exhale, bring your hand down. Position right knee in line with the right wrist, left foot in line with the right wrist, arm goes up. Once you've got this position, take the top arm overhead, stretching, and maybe lifting the hips a bit more to get that same stretching sensation along the left side body. The breath is deep. You can focus on one spot to keep the balance. Push out of the right shoulder. Inhale, taking arm back up. Exhale, bring your hand down as you come back to neutral position. So the idea is to get the right arm out to the side, not in line with the shoulder, also not straight in front. So right in between, diagonally. Once you get that position, be on the fingertips. Place your left hand slightly to the outside of the left shoulder and actively work the right deltoid, the right shoulder down towards the floor, almost as if you pull with the left hand, getting your face a bit closer to the crease of the left elbow. Just getting into the shoulder and pec area, chest muscles. Inhale, make your way back up. Bring your hands back onto the mat just to neutralize. And then left arm goes out Once again, not in front, not out to the side, but instead right in between. Get the right hand maybe just off the mat as you start to pull the left shoulder down towards the mat, and this right hand is aiding you to sort of pull a little bit further in the direction of the right elbow. And the breath is deep and controlled. Inhale, make your way back up, positioning hands below the shoulders. And from here we go into a seated position, so you can step into seated. Bring the legs out in front, wrap your arms around the backs of the knees, walk your heels in till you find that you can get the heels to float off the mat. Now, instead of having the feet all passive, flex and lift your heels, get them in line with the hip, or in line with the knees. Now think of working your chest closer to your knees. Arch in the back to feel the back muscles working. At the moment, this is more of a balancing posture than a core exercise, but your back muscles are working. Now we're going to introduce the front part, or the front body, meaning the hip flexors, the quads, the adductor muscles by squeezing knees together, along with the core. So maintain this engagement. Bring your arms out in front. Keep the breath strong. One more deep inhale. Exhale, cross your legs. Take your hands out in front. Bring your chest closer to the floor. Inhale, head up. Exhale, walk the hands over to the left, feeling into the right side body. Walking your hands back to center on inhale. Exhale, walk it over to the right side. Feeling that nice stretch. Sit bones making contact with the floor. Walking your hands back to center on inhale and bringing your chest up. Place your hands behind the shoulders, fingers pointing forwards. Bring your knees together, feet together. The movement will look as follows. You're going to pull knees closer to your chest and then straighten your legs out in front. Bending and pulling the knees in and straighten. What you want to avoid is moving your chest up and down a lot. So see if you can fixate the upper body in one position with the help of your hands and core engagement, and we'll just move the legs. Finding your position, straighten and bend. You can just keep moving as you keep your breath deep and controlled. Keep going. Three more. One more. And then step your feet onto the mat. As you do so, turn your hands, walk your hands away from the shoulders, lifting in your chest. From this position, we're going to be getting into malasana and maybe something deeper from a seated. So you can walk your hands back, get weight onto your hands, push yourself up into malasana pose. So part the feet and get all the way into malasana. If this posture is quite challenging, I'd suggest that you stay here. Should you want to take it a little bit deeper, what we do is get the shoulders on the insides of the legs as much as possible, work the elbows down towards the floor, then straighten the arms. Once you've got the arms straight, consider to bend your arms, getting the fingers closer behind the body or by the low back. So that's your option, or staying in malasana. Whichever option you chose, you can slowly bring your hands down onto the mat in line with the shoulders, keeping the toes externally rotated or the feet start to straighten your legs. Then inhale, get a bit of a halfway lift and bend into knees, pigeon the feet, and exhale, straighten your legs as much as you can. And now inhale, bend into knees, a bit of a halfway lift, square off in the feet, and exhale, forward bend. Now use your inhale to slowly make your way back up into a standing position. So for balancing pose, we'll keep left foot on the mat first. You get right ankle above the left knee. Bring your hands to prayer. Take a deep in breath and start to sink down into this position. We've got the right knee pointing out to the side. You want the shin to be straight. You don't want the knee to point up. You also don't want to push the knee down too far. With the hands to prayer, we've got length in the spine. And the deeper you sink down, especially bringing chest closer to the top leg, the deeper the stretch will be. Just balance on your left foot. Inhale to lift the chest, straighten grounding legs, step the right foot down. We'll do opposite side. Right foot will stay on the floor. Bend the left, get the ankle on top of the right knee. Hands to prayer. Start to sink down. Once again, paying attention to keep the knee out to the side and not pointing up to ceiling. Should you want to take it a bit deeper, surely with exhalations, keeping length and back, bringing chest forwards, will make it a little bit more intense. Inhale to raise your chest, straighten the right leg, step left foot onto the mat. You can shake it out. Finally, getting the feet together, spread your toes, grip the mat with your toes. Stand up nice and tall, close your eyes. And in this mountain pose, shift a little bit of weight back and forth. Just feel that you get more weight onto the toes, balls of the feet, and then you get more weight onto the heels. Back to the balls of the feet, the toes, to the heels. And now find your center of gravity. So get the weight evenly spread between the three corners of the feet, if we want to think about the baby toe side, the big toe side, and the heel. Then open your eyes. Inhale, arms up, our final vinyasa. Exhale, forward bend, head to shins. In-breath, halfway lift, and exhale, plant your hands, step back, knees, chest, chin, or Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, bending knees and making your way into a seated position. As we get to seated, straighten legs. With the legs being straight, place your hands onto your knees, lift in the chest, and slide your hands closer to the quads, leaning back. Holding this position, we'll be going into plow pose after this. First, a bit of core engagement. Please, as we go into plow, when we go upside down, don't turn your head. Simply keep the chin tucked close to the chest. If you don't get the toes to touch the floor behind your head, then you can bend into the knees. But let's lower all the way down. As you get onto the mat, take your feet over. You can keep hands on the mat or even hands on the back for support. In order to get out of plow, you can very slowly start to lower your hips towards the mat. Come down one vertebra at a time. Your heels will eventually make contact with the floor. As you get onto your back, step your feet onto the mat. Keep the inner knees together, but walk your feet out to the sides. Holding this position. Walk your feet back onto the mat as you part the knees. And bring your knees into your chest. You can grip hold behind the backs of your knees and rock up into a seated position. So, if you don't want to be in an upright position for silent meditation, then you're more than welcome to relax back into corpse pose now and to stay in corpse pose for as long as you like. But the idea with this meditation is to do a complete silent meditation. I'm not guiding you in any way. You can simply sit and observe. If the mind wanders, let it wander. You can bring it back to the breath. It's always good to focus on the subtle rise and fall sensation in the body. Sounds around you, your mind will go in that direction. Just bring it back. That's all. So no guidance from my side. You simply sit and see how busy the mind is. Maybe it's not that busy. Maybe if you approach it with a sense of lightness, you'll find that it's relatively comfortable and easy to be still for a few minutes. It's not for long. It's a short little meditation. Make sure that you're comfortable, as always with any form of meditation. Hands on the knees or in your lap, shoulders back and down. And then just get a soft gaze. And from soft gaze, we close the eyes. And you simply sit in this upright position. In this upright seated position, just start to bring awareness back. That sense of contact, of weight, focusing on the sounds around you. And in your own time, opening your eyes. It's always good to take a bit of a pause. Let's now get onto our backs for corpse pose. To conclude this practice, you can stay in this position for as long as you like. 5 to 10 minutes would definitely be a good bet, but just stay here. Let's allow the body or the system to get back to its natural state before we carry on with this day. You can close your eyes and just allow the breath to be natural.